What's up, everybody? All right, so we are getting kicked off. Man, I feel like it's been a while since I've come and talked to y'all and chatted with you all. Well, I'm excited because we're back and we are live on Facebook. So do me a favor. While we're doing this, I need everybody to go ahead on and share this link. Go ahead on and share this link everywhere you can. Share it on your group pages, share it on your Facebook pages. Go ahead on and share this link. So first of all, welcome back. We are the New Frontier Action Team. It's a group of us out here who are working and advocating so that we can educate people across this country and, of course, here in this state on voting rights, opportunities for environmental concerns, racial and social justice issues. That's what we do. We need you to do us a favor. We need you to make a donation today. Go to newfrontieraction.com, newfrontieraction.com, and make a donation today so that we can continue to do what we are doing in these streets. This is what we're doing. We're out here trying to make it happen every single time that we can. And we appreciate you for being a part of this and being one of our supporters. So today we're talking about the Black family structure and Black relationships. And this is going to be interesting. So here's what happened. One day I said, you know what? Let's do a show around Black family and Black relationships. I had a group of people who said, you know what? I'm cool with being a part of that. And so that's how we came up with this panel. We have a huge stacked panel of people, of professionals, of Black professionals, of business owners, of counselors, of teachers, of realtors, of people of faith. So we're going to tackle this from all different angles, from all different points of view. If you would like to participate, please go ahead on and start commenting in the comment box. But it's happening right now. And my man behind the scenes is Mr. Mark, and he's about to bring our panelists right on the screen right now. Welcome to the show. We got Chrissy, Sylvia, Big Lou, Miss Mina Jones, and Miss Bree in the building. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Hey.
Hey.
Phenomenal.
Doing good.
Yeah. So the last time we was all here, we was chatting about this whole family structure. So as you all can see, we have a new panelist with us today. We know that Duana and Miss Abinah will be joining us next time. And so we have a new panelist with us today, which happens to be my oldest sister. And so and so I wanted to welcome her. The other panelists, y'all remember them from last time. So we're going to have everybody introduce themselves. We're going to start with Bree. We're going to go to Mina, go to Lou, Sylvia, and then we're going to have my sister introduce herself coming up here last, and she is the newest one. Bree, go ahead on and kick us off and introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is Brianna. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a school counselor working on my LPC for family therapy. I love talking about relationships, family structures. This is awesome. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And anything else you'd like to know?
Yeah. No, all good.
That's me.
Mina Jones.
All right. My name is Mina Jones. I'm a realtor in Des Moines, Iowa. Excuse me. I'm a single mother of 3. Right now I'm in a relationship. So I do enjoy, speaking about these things and, learning also what I can do better to raise my children and also incorporate my new relationship into my business life. So this is always great.
Awesome. Big Lou.
Good afternoon. Once again, my name is Louis Founder. I appreciate the invitation. Love talking about relationships, right? I'm currently in Des Moines, Iowa, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Been in Des Moines about 14 years now. It's been a while. Work with young people, mentor, coach. Currently at Callahan Middle School and Roosevelt High School. And glad to be here.
Miss Sylvia.
Hi, my name is Sylvia. I'm a single mother of two. I do a lot of different work out in the community, from advocating for mental health to helping victims when they lose their loved ones or needing services. And I just enjoy, learning about family, being able to have conversations about family, and being able to, help others.
Awesome. And my big sister, Chris.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Chrissy. I am the owner of Joppa Experience. I am new to Des Moines, Iowa, and I've only been here 9 months, and I am originally from Chicago.
Chi-Town in the building. So we've been doing a lot of stuff. Last time we were talking about folks in the kitchen. We were talking about who eats first. We spent a lot of time talking around that. So I don't want to go back down that topic. I want to throw out some other topics today. The first thing I want to throw out, and this is a simple question. And I'm going to come to Mina first. So the question is, Mina, are you toxic?
I would love to say I'm not. I think that some of the aspects of my life can make it messy at times. Like I stated in my intro, I am in a new relationship, but I do have 3 children. That can be a toxic situation. Trying to incorporate my kids' fathers and my new boyfriend and the kids and everybody together. It can be a mess at times. I'm a heck of a businesswoman when it comes to business, things like that. A man would love that part of me. I can cook real good. But I'm not toxic, but I definitely have work to do. And I can be honest. I come from, the hood of Des Moines, which people, don't know what hood, but we had one, and I did some hoodly things in it. And so to come from that to turn into a businesswoman and, just toning down my life in so many aspects. Last night there was like a concert here and everybody went, all my old friends, and I wanted to do it so bad. I wanted to go out and participate, and I didn't. I stayed home, so I'm working on my toxicness. I'm detoxing.
I'm detoxing. Bree, are you toxic?
I think that I have been and was toxic. I think, as Mina said, still definitely work to do, but I am at a point in my life where I'm understanding, especially the things that you don't see as toxic are a product of the way that you were raised or where you come from and how you learned how to be a part of a relationship. So unlearning those things has been a huge process in the last, I would say, 5 years. And coming to terms with my toxicity has been hard just because I am a good person and I don't think that I have any malicious intent towards anyone. But then when you take a step back and look from an objective perspective at your life and the relationships you've had, and you're like, damn, I was the problem. Okay.
Yeah, I'm crazy as hell.
Well, that's and it's always hindsight is 2020. So yes, I would say toxic in transition. Yes.
Big sis, you toxic?
Of course, I'm not toxic. No, no. I agree with Bree. Toxicity comes from the trauma that you had in your life, and therefore, if you're operating out of trauma, then of course you're toxic. If you've been hurt before, you're toxic. If you believe that you're the only one right, you're toxic. It's a lot of things that you can consider toxic, but I believe once that you realize that you are toxic, then that's when you start working on yourself and you do self-work.
Big Lou, are you toxic?
Man, listen, of course, we all are toxic. I have toxic tendencies, right? I don't think, I agree with Chrissy. I don't do anything with malicious intent. But when you take my background and you take from where I'm from and you take my upbringing and then you put that in someone else's space, right? That doesn't have that same upbringing and doesn't have that same lifestyle and things like that. Boom! It's like it's a firebomb that you didn't think you want to happen, but it happens.
Exactly.
So yeah, I ain't Derek Jack, man. I admit my flaw. Yes, I'm toxic. I think I'm right sometimes, all the time. Right? I mean, there's not things, again, where you want to do it on purpose and just be toxic, but yes, you know what I mean? But then I think what comes with that is healing, you know what I mean? And knowing that, hurt people. So I've hurt people, not intentionally, but again, because of how my upbringing and because of I was hurt, the next thing you know, that hurt trickles down to my relationships, whether it's friendships or whatever have you. So yes.
And I believe that toxicity comes from a lot of people not wanting to be vulnerable. So they use that as a guard. They use that to shield themselves from being hurt or not wanting to let anybody in to see where they've been hurt from or how to heal from that hurt. And if you don't want to heal from that hurt, you'll always be toxic because you're going to carry that around. And you think it's you being the big bad person, or you think it's you putting up a wall of this is me being me, but you're being toxic because, like you said, you're hurting somebody else.
So I'm gonna throw out a general statement. Women believing that they are right in the relationship, is that toxic?
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
No, I mean, so that's not a fair question.
How is that not a fair question? It's literally women believing that they're right. Is that toxic? That's a fair question because
they're right all the time. It's toxic. I think if it's a man or a woman, if you believe that you're always right, you're toxic because you can't.
And I understand. I think where you're trying to come from with that question, Rob, because as you know, as kind of how the Black culture used to be, the woman kind of ran the household. Like that was her house. She ran. Like the man, he ran, supposed to provide, but the woman definitely called the shots. Do you got your jacket on, huh, babe? Take this medicine. She calls the shots in most of the situations, I feel. And I mean, so I feel like that's where maybe you was coming from with that question. Do women, because we do, I know I do, I feel like I listen. I definitely am learning to listen anyways. I'm learning to listen. Like I told you, I'm learning because I've been so independent and I did everything by myself. And all my trauma that me and my kids went through, I dug us out of that. So I'm a person like, I don't want to listen to what anybody else is going to say because you didn't direct me. Clearly, I know what I'm doing if I made it this far, but that's toxic for me to be so closed off and to be shut off. So I'm learning in this situation to listen. And finally, and I don't mean to say that like that, but it's somebody that I can respect and want to listen to. You can't let just anybody lead you. You can't have blind leading the blind. So in past relationships where I might have seemed toxic, I couldn't listen to you. I can't trust you. You're not dependable. So no, I'm not going to listen to what you say. But now I've, it's somebody to trust. So I can listen at this point to some things. Still working on it.
Anybody, go ahead, jump in.
Because I can talk all night. Y'all don't even know me like that.
Are we still answering the question you just asked? Is that where you're?
Yeah.
I will agree, and I will agree. It does go both parts because a lot of times, sometimes with people, especially now in the century that we're in, it's a 50-50. You know what I'm saying? So both wife and husband or boyfriend and girlfriend, you're bringing something to the table each. And, there comes a time where you have to bend, period. And it's taken me a long time to learn that with my relationship because I was bullheaded. I'm a toxic person. And I had to learn you have to bend because you have to be willing to accept what the person is saying. You're not always right. I've never been one to think I was always right, but I was always stuck in my ways. So to me personally, I just feel like it's a 50-50 and you're bringing something to the table And you got to be able to be willing to be open to accept somebody else's, how am I trying to say, somebody else's views and opinions. Because if you're not open to hear that, then you're not going to be good for nobody. And then you're teaching your kids certain habits that they don't need to be taught. So it's all about being, as I say, an adult and growing up, because we all can be childish in relationships, friendships, whatever type of relationships you're in. But it's a matter of it's a matter of you bending. So,
well, I think when you look at it, it's generational as well. You have to truly do a self-evaluation. Look at your parents, your grandparents, and look at some of the things that was toxic growing up. Shouldn't have happened. But we always give grace to people we love. And then what happens is we get into those same relationships, and unknowingly or knowingly, we do the same exact things that we saw, right? And then we act, and then we justify it, like that's how my mama did it, that's how my grandmama did it, whatever have you, and act like it's okay. And you be dead behind wrong. Sorry, Dr. Reverend Johnson. You be wrong.
There's two left shoes.
That wrong. Yeah, and that's a lot of our problems, man. We can't justify wrong. You can't justify being toxic. And then when you get into these relationships, and then you always blaming the person, your significant other, it's always their fault. Then you get into another one, and it's always their fault. Then you get into another one, and it's their fault. It's like, at what point do you raise your hand and be like, yo, it's my fault too? Period. It's not always everybody else's fault. That's toxic within itself.
Yep. But I think it comes to a point in life where a lot of times we live our life through the lens of the person who influenced us, right? And so, because that's what they put on us. So we live in this box or this barrel because mama or daddy or grandma did it, then I have to do it this way. But it comes to a point in life when life happens to you, where everything that you learned, whether it's from a childhood or as an adult, you have to knock off the table and pick up what's good for you. And when you know better, you do better. So as you grow and you get to learn and new things, then you realize that some of the stuff that you take on as personal ship, that's just me, you have to change. Because it's not just you. It's something that you embedded in you and made it you, but that's not just you. You didn't just come into the world like that. You picked that up from somewhere and you carried it on for a lifetime. And now you're with somebody who wants to love you, care for you, and be there for you. And now you can't change who you are because hell, you kept it for so long, you don't know what to do with it.
And I think when we're talking about generational curses and traumas, I think it goes even further back than like grandmas and great grandparents. I think it's a Black issue. I think it's a power struggle that we feel like we have to uphold, where I have to be right, because if I'm not right, that means I'm weak, especially our women. So because I definitely can say personally that I do that, and I'm always the most toxic when it matters the most. So like I'm able to listen, I'm able to sit back and evaluate a situation, especially if I'm in it. I can be objective to my own problems. But when it like comes down to like, now we're in an argument and it's heated, now that's when I need to practice these listening skills and seeing both sides. That's when I turn into the toxic Bree. And that, again, that's the learning, but that's the most important time. And I think the best forms of communication, the things that us as Black people need to understand and start to practice more, is listening is probably one of the best forms of communication we can ever have. Not saying, silence. You don't always have to say something. You don't always have to have the last word. Sometimes just listening. And even if you feel you're right, you could be right. But a lot of our problems can be fixed by, and a lot of times the person that we're in an argument with feels like they're not heard or they're not seen. So I think that the power struggle is our biggest issue in these relationships and toxic relationships.
But it's not also in listening, but it's also in understanding what that person is saying. Because you can listen all day. It can go on one ear after the other. Yeah, I heard you. Yeah, I heard you. But did you understand what I said?
But it's not always understanding either, though, because you're not ever going to always get somebody to understand you. You have to drop that as well. I think that's a toxic trait as well, that we're talking and speaking and listening so we can understand, and we feel like that person that we're talking to has to understand us before my point is heard. And if you don't understand that, I'm gonna keep talking, and that's where our struggle also comes into play. So you don't always have to say something to be understood. Just make sure you listen, and then you can accept without agreeing. And you can.
And I never said agree. I never said agree. I never said
good,
agree.
Rob.
What I
good,
said
Rob.
was, I never said agree. I said to understand. So how am I supposed to listen and not understand what you're saying? If I don't understand it, then I can't fix it.
Well, I'm gonna say something about that because I, in situations, in a situation that I'm currently in, I don't understand everything about this person. Some of their ways I don't understand. Some of my ways they don't understand. But I do sometimes just listen to what he has to say because it's helping me learn. I've never been that one. I was really, I'm mean kind of to men. And I've been like, I just have. And I've just been kind of mean and just like, I don't need you and easily to kick you to the curb. But really, I've been that way. And I've been like that, just kick you to the curb, don't care. And this time, I want to care. I want to care. I want to love this person. I want this person to be able to love me. So I have to change a lot of things. And I just wanted to speak on what Bree had said about. Quick. Yeah.
All right. Hey, for those of you who are just joining us, you tuned in to the Rob Johnson conversation about Black family structure and Black relationships. You're welcome to the New Frontier Action Team. Please take a moment to go to newfrontieraction.com, make a donation today so that we can continue to do these types of conversations, these types of moments where we're creating space and making sure that voices are being heard in this space. And we have a dynamic panel with us. For those who are just joining, we have my older sister, Miss Chrissy Johnson, the owner and operator of Drop Experience. We got Miss Sylvia. We got Miss Mina Jones. We got Miss Bree in the building. And, of course, we got Big Lou. And so welcome those of you who are just joining in. I want to switch gears real quick, y'all, because I feel like we're at a good spot to talk about this. Because I've noticed that in relationships, you have one person who always has something negative to say about the other person. Never really something good. They always got something negative to say. And then their response is always like something like, oh, well, you should just be listening, or you should just be trying to change what I'm telling you to try and change. But it's always something negative. And then it's coupled into this thing called love, right? And so the question is, let me phrase it like this. How can people watching tell the difference between are they being loved or is somebody trying to control them?
Okay.
So you're saying like the criticisms are the control or love? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. So if somebody is always being negative and is coupled into this thing called love, is it love or is it control?
Well, I'm gonna start a little bit, right? This is how I look at it. Like, so I consider myself a positive person. I try to be as positive as I can be at all times, right? And even when I'm going into a conversation that I feel like is going to be critical, I'm mindful that this is going to be a hard conversation. I'm mindful of that. So I think it's not it's delivery. It's multitude of things, right? If you have an intimate relationship with that person, they know you're just not a negative person, unless you are just a negative person and a toxic person, and you constantly coming for them, right? Then they also understand like, you truly love them and you want the best for them, and you just trying to get the best out of this relationship. And they spirit to tell them that immediately. So I look at it like, at the end of the day, people know. Right, when they're being, I'm not gonna say people know, because some people don't know when they're being manipulated. Derek Jack, and some of y'all follow him and y'all love that dude. But at the end of the day, most people understand when they're being manipulated by people, right? Most people understand that, this person truly just, they really just trying to play me. They just want me to, they just trying to control me. right? And they not really have my best interest. I don't know. I think that's one of those things where it's not just a blanket statement. It has everything to do with that person who you have a relationship with and truly knowing them. Like, you got to truly know the people you're taking advice from. That's why I don't take advice from everybody.
Yeah.
That's
I would say,
go ahead, Mina. Sorry, go ahead.
I would just say, like, as far as a woman's standpoint of view, and I guess I'm speaking for some Black women, a lot of times when a man is trying to tell us what to do or give us some criticism, and sometimes can be constructive, we, will shut down. We're so independent, we're so strong, we're so tough, and we don't want to listen to too much criticism. Where I'm good. That's how a lot of Black women operate, or I could say in my generation, a lot of women are very strong, and we don't need, y'all know how they're going right nowadays. And that, to me, is like, we need to change that. I feel like women should be more
submissive.
Yes, and should listen. And hold on, listen to me. I feel like women are so hard right now. I feel like we're so hard. Wait, just listen. I feel like we're so hard right now. And a person that loves you and wants to see you at their best, they might see you in a different light than everybody else because they're with you. They might see something different. So they might be able to say, hey, babe, change this because this isn't okay. And it's really not okay, but nobody's ever called you on it because they might not have cared, or else, they just don't, or they didn't care. They didn't care enough to tell you that you should change that. Like, I'm in my relationship now. I'm just gonna give a quick example. I wanted to wear a certain outfit. In the past, if somebody would have told me you shouldn't wear that doesn't look good. Not that it didn't look good, but saying, the certain image that you give off says, I'm here for whatever, and there's a certain way that a woman can dress that can give a certain type of image. I didn't take it as, at first I was defensive, but when I sat down and thought about it, this person wasn't trying to control what I wore. He wanted me to be respected in every light. He wanted other people to see me and respect me. He didn't want anybody to see me and think, oh, look at this, whatever you might call somebody that wears something that doesn't look good. And we all know what that is. I know it's like woman empowerment. Everybody's like, women should wear whatever they want. Women should be able to do whatever they want, but some of it doesn't look good and it doesn't give you a good look, and it just doesn't. So I appreciated that after the fact that he told me, hey, change that up. And I'm realizing that sometimes criticism isn't always bad. And if it's from a significant other, it isn't always somebody trying to control you or tell you you need to do X, Y, Z. But it's like, hey, if you want to be a better person and you want to grow and elevate, you should do X, Y, Z, because this is what I see from my standpoint. So I feel like if somebody's helping you, sometimes you should open up and listen. Sometimes somebody does.
It's a difference in being open and listening. Then you use the word submissive. I think we need to probably pull out the dictionary and see what submissive means.
Well, what does submissive mean? Tell me.
Exactly, Robert. What does submissive mean, Robert, since you use that word?
Go ahead. Give me.
Let me know. I love to learn.
Go ahead. Give me what you think. Oldest sister.
When we say submissive, that means, to me, and I probably need to look that word up, submissive means to give a person completely control over you. Am I wrong? Am I right? Can we look up submissive?
Wrong.
Okay, well, let's look up submissive. I said let's look it up.
Go ahead.
When I say submissive, and what I meant by submissive was...
Come on, Mina.
What I meant by submissive was letting my guards down and allowing somebody to lead me. Not always that he's going to teach me everything, but just simply walk in a couple steps. I used to notice
that's a better way to say it, not submissive.
Like a simple thing. I used to walk fast in front of him, but but I wanted him to open the door for me. So then I'd be walking so fast to the door, then I have to stand there looking stupid, and he would come and open it. I learned to calm down and walk just a few steps behind him, slow up. I was submissive just a little bit. I calmed my normal
what you're
speed
saying.
walk into the
I
store.
think it's less submissive and more allow someone else to lead. I think that's a better way to describe it.
Yeah.
Isn't
So it's not like
isn't it the same thing, Bree? If you submit to your partner,
no,
it's the
because
same
if
thing.
you're allowing someone to lead, you
Because
still
the man
leader.
has to submit
You
to
can
the
still
woman
lead.
as well.
But if you're submitting, it means you're giving, like Chrissy said, total control and power.
What if y'all were looking too
both
much into
partners
the
have to
word?
submit.
But that's not what you said. That's not what you said. Never time did you say male and female submit. You said a woman only. Now let's be clear on what you said.
Who, me?
No, this one over here.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
But I just think it makes it feel like, because I mean we've changed again. Somebody said it earlier. You know, generationally, we're in a different level when it comes to where women and men are. And not saying that submissive, if you want to be submissive to your man, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I think in the context of what you're saying, it's more, I'm allowing or letting someone else lead while I take a step back.
All right, time out.
Wait.
Come on, Chrissy.
Before you say this, Lou, let me
Come on,
just say
Chrissy.
this. Instead of being submissive, can we say vulnerable? Can we say vulnerable? Can we just
But
say
to
that?
me, vulnerable's weak.
Listen,
Wow.
Rob Johnson, Rob, I need to say one cuss word, Rob. Just one. Can I say one? Y'all women funny. Y'all be funny. Y'all don't like this word like of a man leading or being submissive. But yeah, no woman I know want a bitch. Period. So no woman I know want a bitch. Ever.
Agreed.
Period.
So I be confused. Like y'all, listen, y'all complicate simplicity. A lot of men be confused by y'all, not only by your actions, but what comes out your mouth. Like, so what y'all want a man to do? Either you want a man to be a bitch or you want him to be like a man. Like, I be confused.
No, it's nothing wrong with being vulnerable.
The homies be confused. The homies be confused. They don't know what to do.
To you. I can be open to you, but when you say submissive, that means I have to give up everything that I won't need.
Not
and
necessarily.
Listen to what the hell you saying?
No, I would never.
That's not what that means at all. I think Mina got it. I think Mina understands.
I would never give up my everything to a man, but I would definitely, I don't, like Lou said, I don't want no bitch. I don't want that. I want you to be tough. I want you to be strong. I want to know that if something goes down, we good. You know, I want to know that if something goes down, we good. You know, and if I know that and I feel protected and I feel like everything's good, it makes it so easy to submit. I'm in a situation where it's so easy right now to just
the black church. Let's go back to the black church, Rob.
Pull it up.
We've that word has been toxic throughout, you know, generationally within the black church for as far as a woman being submissive. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest, I don't want a woman that's like
right.
No, you know what I'm saying? But that don't mean, we have to, like, first things first, we both gotta submit to God first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from there, right, that gonna lead and direct everything we need to do for each other when we become one. So at the end of the day, don't get it twisted. We put emphasis on word, and words matter. Let's be honest. Your words have power. At the end of the day, I want to submit. I want you to submit, right, to the things that you feel like spiritually, emotionally, whatever you like, that's comfortable. That's going to help your family, and it's going to be, it's going to help you as a woman, as a man. On the flip side of that, as a man, there's certain things I'm going to submit to as well. I ain't got to open my mouth for everything. I don't got to argue about everything. I don't have to say, like, if I don't like something, I got to tell you every time I don't like something. That's me submitting as well. Saying, you know what, we in a relationship. I don't have to comment on everything. I don't have to do X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? Because then that goes back to, in the relationship, like, do I have to cook and clean? Do I have to do the dishes?
Let me say this.
Do you have to do X, Y, Z? No.
Let me say this. If there's a partner who always has something to say, and then the other person, when they give feedback, the one who's always giving feedback can't seem to receive it. Is that someone not wanting to submit or be submissive?
It's toxic, Rob Johnson.
It is toxic, right?
I let me chime in on that one, Rob. So, like for me, I'll use me for an example. Again, like I stated, I can be a toxic person at times, okay? I can be bullheaded, and you're laughing over there, Rob, because you didn't seen it in action. But
I've experienced it.
that goes back to I had to learn being in the relationship that I'm in. I had to learn how to be open to accept what they're saying. I might not necessarily like it, but I have to be open to hear what they're saying. And I'm kind of with Mina because I do the same thing. I'm not submitting to him, but I'm bending for him. So that means, okay, I'm going from being this single mom, this powerful, independent Black woman, to now I am with somebody who wants me to represent them in a certain way outside of what I'm used to doing being single. That goes a little bit different for me. Now, do I not always accept what my significant other says? Hell yeah. We will go rounds on different things. I'm not always open because for me, I call that being stubborn. I just don't want to hear what you got to say, and vice versa. But it goes back to what we said in the beginning, like Lou said, and somebody else has spoke on. It's a 50-50 thing. It's a bending thing. You have to be able to bend in any relationship that you're in. That means we're not all perfect, but we got to be able to communicate. If we cannot communicate, you're not going to get anywhere. Period. And that's just like through any type of relationship, whether it be friendship, family, significant other, husband, wife, children. Just like Lou said, that's toxic. That's toxic. And if you got a toxic situation, you're not gonna get nowhere. Period.
Thank you, Sylvia. I want to point this out. I did see a comment come through talking about. Seems like folks are hung up on terminology. I believe the only person hung up on terminology is Chrissy. Who continues to go to the dictionary and try to
told me to pull that thing out
and try to pull up
Don't
the definitions
do Chrissy.
of words. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, submissive, being a submissive wife or submissive husband, because at the end of the day, so in Black culture, I want to back up real quick.
Back it up, Rob.
Mark is giving me the sign. So, for those of you who are just watching, thanks again for tuning in. You are watching Conversations with Rob Johnson on the New Frontier Action TV. Please continue to go to our website at newfrontieraction.com, make a donation today so that we can continue to do these types of events and do these types of conversations. So please share this video. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, we're live on 5 different platforms. I can't remember all of them. I think Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, some more stuff. So please go ahead on, share this info out there. Continue to share. Sharing is caring. So I appreciate that. Thank y'all so much. All right, let's back this up real quick because in Black culture, let's just keep it 100. In Black culture, growing up, it was the man had a dominant role as the provider. He paid the bills. He did that. He was outside of the house. And it was God, the man, the woman, and then the children. That's in Black culture growing up. That's simply how it was. And the woman submitted to her husband, not in a controlling way, but in a way of respect, of saying, all right, I'm going to respect him enough to allow him to lead this house. What I'm hearing today is that this has now shifted and changed, and we don't want to use submissive. We want to use vulnerability as the word for how we. Because they don't
want no man, they want a simp. That's what it is. They don't want no man, they want a simp.
That is not true, Lou. So would you stop saying that? Because that is not true.
And Lou, this is where I'm going. I'm going somewhere with this because
where are you going?
Because it feels like, Lou, you feel like you're wanting to be always right.
Here's the deal. Here's my next question for you. Here's my next question. At what point do you say what is the difference between correcting your partner's behavior and attacking their character? What is the difference?
There's a big difference. Come on, let's
There's
be
a
honest.
big difference, yeah.
Because this is the thing. If I'm attacking your things you do, I'm not attacking your character per se, right? If I'm just saying, yo, you know what, you're a horrible person, like that's totally different than saying, yo, I don't like it when you don't dry the dishes, or I don't like it when you talk to me, you elevate your voice, right? That has nothing to do with your character. That's got everything to do with certain tendencies you have and how you communicate or how you may take care of your home or something of that nature. At the end of the day, somebody starts attacking your character, right? That means, you are just a liar. You always lie. Right? That's attacking character. That's not attack. You always, now they generalizing and they going in and it's aggressive and it's coming from the gut. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how y'all women do sometimes. It's coming from the gut, from the depths. It's coming from the depths. Like it feels some type of way.
So Robert attacks my character all the time because he tell me I don't have any eyebrows. So when I went and got some eyebrows today, is he attacking my character? No, don't answer that, Lou.
Don't answer that, Lou.
Come on back.
Eyebrows ain't character. That's just a little. That's no different than a woman saying, "Yo, Lou, you need a haircut." I might need a haircut. It's time for me to go get a haircut. But I'm going all in my.
I needed one the other day. The sides had grown out.
Listen, because this I always say this too. If as your significant other, if I can't tell you the truth, then who can? If I can't tell you the truth, who can?
It is.
That's how I feel.
It's about delivery too, though. So I mean, you can still criticize and it still feel like an attack, depending on how you say it. And then
it don't matter how you say it, Bree. Come on. Sometimes it don't matter how you say it. I can be like, Bree, I really don't like your nose ring. Well, nobody asked you if you liked it. And I'm like, whoa.
That's right. Who he imitated? But it's, at the same time, if somebody is continually doing that, it's gonna build up. If somebody's continually doing little small things and criticizing the small things that you do, especially in a relationship, whether it's caring or coming from a good place or not, it's going to start weighing on you. And so it's going to feel eventually kind of like, okay, does this person really care about me? They don't like anything that I do. Every 5 seconds, they're telling me, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. But I feel like, especially when we're talking about effective communication in relationships, sometimes you need to say, I'm not trying to say, or, soften it up a little bit. Not all the time. I think you can be direct sometimes, but when we're talking about constant criticisms, I think it's better and it's healthier to monitor how you say things, because it will eventually feel like an attack. Like 10 little criticisms can start to feel like, okay, now I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you care about me or you just, because if you think that you need to criticize everything I'm doing, then why are you with me? Why are we together? If you think that if you're trying to change everything that I do and everything I do is wrong, then maybe you need to find somebody that's better for you, that you don't have to criticize all the time.
Is that controlling behavior? Is that controlling behavior?
It can be.
It can be a little bit, it just depends. But that's what I'm saying. It just depends on the situation. But I think constant criticizing, to go back to your actual question, constant criticisms over and over again, I think that is toxic. I think that it's
well, this is the problem too. You always gonna have one person in the relationship that don't tell the other person about themselves at all. Yeah. That's just as toxic too. So yes, if I do it 5 times and you don't do it none, it's like I'm always nitpicking. But I might even ask you, hey, is this something I need to work on? It's something you don't like, and you like, no.
Because I feel like it's unnecessary sometimes as well. In a lot of relationships, we're two humans. And this is for friendships, relationships, anything. We're 2 different humans. Everything about me, you're not going to like. Everything about you, I'm not going to like. I think, now, I mean, if it's something that's really, really bothering you, like you said, the way you keep your house, you know what I'm saying? If a person's up in there, the bathroom's always nasty, you might want to mention that. But, certain things, the way a person eats potato chips, just some people are very, very nitpicky, and it's unnecessary sometimes.
They need to be
sometimes you have to figure out what about you? Why does it bother you so much?
Yo, I smack when I eat potato chips. I smack.
I smack too, and I don't want to hear nobody telling me, you need the way you eat the potato. I'm not going to change the way I eat.
Well, no, I had to though. But no, Mina, I had to literally look at, I know I smack. I had to be intentional in knowing, this is really irking their nerves.
And you stopped and you changed the way you was eating?
I'm not saying I changed it, but I was more conscious of it. I was more. I ain't have to be all extra when I'm eating my potato chips. I was more conscious.
You're eating your potato chips.
You listen. If you choose, but
wish somebody would tell me how to eat.
You can't pick and choose though. You can't pick and choose.
I'm eating my food.
Hold on. Let me finish. You can't pick and choose. If you love somebody, you know what I'm saying? What you will change and what you won't change. No,
yes,
it's not conditional. Nah,
yes, you can. You're a human. Yes, and that's another thing about
listen. What you're saying is,
hold on. Wait a minute, Lou.
Let me be submissive and be quiet.
Thank you. And this is the part about why. Thank you. And this is the part about why sometimes when people say submissive, it gets taken out of context because some people some people are submissive and they allow a person to totally control them. At the beginning, you got to love you. You got to have some sort of power underneath you. So if you tell me, hey, babe, you need to clean the bathroom more, I might pay attention to that. But if you tell me I don't like the way you eating potato chips, I'm not really finna let you dictate how I eat my food the way I've been eating my food for 30 years. I'm going to eat my food. Now, if it's something that's really bothering or something that I really feel like can change or something that makes sense and will be an asset to our lives, I'm definitely going to work on that. But if it's something childish, something that don't make no sense, you got to have some sort of power under yourself to stand. So you can,
but listen, you can't minimize how somebody else feel about something. So yeah, hold on, let me finish. I ain't saying nothing. Let my turn. Okay. So you will clean the bathroom because you feel like that's more relevant, but you won't be intentional. See, then it's about you. It ain't about him.
No, I'm going to clean the bathroom because it's about us. My potato chips and the way I eat shouldn't be that big of a deal.
But if you're going to keep me over the way I eat, let me tell you why, Mina. Let me tell you why. Because you know why? Because in 2 months he got to take you to his Christmas party for work. And he'd be damned if you get there and you all smacking all in front of his coworkers. That's why. So that's why he wanted to tell you 2 months.
Embarrassed.
Well, that's different. That's different. Now, if you take me in public, I'm gonna switch it up. See, I know, but I'm like that. See, everybody's not like that though. I'm like that. I know how to go. I know how to make it.
Here's what I do know, y'all. What I do know is that in a relationship, what I do know is that in a relationship, people are going to give you feedback, constructive criticism. People are going to tell you, they really, if you really feel like somebody has your best interest at heart, you're not going to take what they're saying every time they say something, unless it becomes a pattern of their behavior where they're constantly being negative towards you. Then you may take something. Then you may take something and be like, well, wait a minute. Like, what's going on right now? This don't seem to be working. Final question for y'all is, and this is, I want each one of you to take turns answering this. And I want to start with Chrissy, go to Sylvia, go to Mina, Bree, and then end with Lou.
Lou should go first.
No, it's my show. Thank you, Chris. Like I said, what I tell you, it's when you if my mama was here right now,
here we go.
What I tell you, it's something else. Now, here's the situation. Our culture has come under attack for so much because of missing fathers, because of so much has been put on the Black woman to raise these young men. I was in a conversation earlier with a friend of mine, and we were talking about is she still considered a single mother if she's in a committed relationship with the man that is active in those kids' life? Is she still considered a single mother, or does that change when she becomes married? Technically, when she becomes married, and then she's no longer considered a single mother. And we'll talk about that on our third part. I don't want to get into that right now. Here's where I want to go with this as we kind of wrap this up. We've talked a lot about correcting behaviors. We've talked a lot about people allowing other people room and space to be themselves, and you got to love them for who they are and stop trying to change them, but still allow space to be like, hey, when you eat, you smack. Like I need you to, I need, I don't, let's maybe watch that a little bit. We talked about the delivery, right? Maybe you don't cook a meal that's that good, and maybe he's trying to tell you, or maybe you pee on the back of the toilet, and she's trying to tell you, look, I gotta clean that, so I need you to watch that, right? There's so much that goes into this, and our culture has come under attack a lot. What are we doing to move this culture forward when talking about our relationships? How do we make them better? I know that's a tough question, so don't feel like you got to give like a Plato type of answer, or some type of doctoral degree dissertation for this. Feel free to just give us your real raw thoughts. What are we doing to make it better? The answer could simply be, I'm working on me. Mm-hmm. I'm working on my mental health, or I'm doing this or doing that. But I really would love you all's thoughts on that. And like I said, we're going to start with my oldest sister, Chrissy.
I really believe that that's a layered question. And so I guess my thing with that is I call this thing called life. And once you experience life and life happens to you, people say been through bad situations. But I said when life happens to you, it makes a turn, and you realize that in a lot of situations that you were in before, in any type of relationship, that you have not found you, and you're living a life to please others because they told you what you could and should be. And so you don't know who you are. But once you get on the road of finding out who you are, and you find out that once you find you find God. And I'm not talking about a God that lives 20 miles in the sky. I'm talking about the God that lives within you when you wake up every morning and look in the mirror. You'll find yourself. And once you find yourself, then you will recognize and understand all the trauma that you've been through, all the hurt that you've been through. Not only what you've been through, but some of the stuff that you caused. And once you learn how to work on you and recognize who you are, then you could become a better you. And then the things that you do differently will attract a different type of person.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
Well, y'all, huge shout out to my sister for making it through this show without crying. She's a big crybaby.
This is toxicity. See what I'm talking about? So why?
We're going to go ahead on and go to Sylvia. Sylvia, you next.
Well, thank you, Evangelist Chrissy. Because you sure spoke a word right there. You was preaching there. I would say for me, I agree with Chrissy. You have to work on you. And that's what I do. I've been working on me. And not only am I working on me to be a better me, I'm also teaching my kids how to be a better them. So I teach my kids from my mistakes. And I don't browbeat them. I don't force feed them. I want them to be their own person. But because I know I have little people looking up to me, I have to present myself a certain way. So that means I have to look inside me, look at the God inside me, look at my mental health, make sure I'm healthy. Because if I'm not healthy, I ain't good for nobody. I'm not good for nobody. And I learned that through my experiences over the years. And it took me a while to get to this place, but and it's not something that can happen overnight. So whoever is listening, I'm just letting you know now, it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time. It takes time. Prime example for me, it has taken me 5 years to get to be the person that I am comfortable being. I was not always this comfortable person. It takes time. So I would just say, I just work on me every day. I find something that I need to do within myself. I don't let nobody tell me about nothing. Can't nobody tell me about Sylvia but Sylvia, period. Because Sylvia's got to do better for Sylvia. So, you know, that's just what I do for myself, is just continually work on me.
Thank you, Sylvia. Miss Mina Jones.
Well, what I am doing to help the Black family structure, and I can't wait till week 3 of this to the single mom chat. Oh yeah, I'm ready. But my real estate. I mean, Black home ownership. I feel like that's a big piece. That's a big um piece just to getting people off the streets, getting people guidance, making generational wealth. I've learned so much just that poverty and generational poverty and how those things really can, affect people mentally and cause all these different things that we've talked about today and more. So what I can do to help is definitely always continue to work on me and grow as a person, but in my career, and just really focusing on Black home ownership. That's my big piece.
Cool. Thank you, Mina. My girl Bree.
I think a huge thing we can do is really work on healing our inner child. I think a lot of us are stuck in these traumatized states, and then we grow into adulthood from there. I always say that we're just a whole bunch of grown kids walking around. Because if you really think about it, again, like we were saying before, the stuff that happened to you, if you think about how you manage anything in your life, a lot of it is pinpointed, or the onset of it was as a child. So healing those pieces of us that keep us held back and not passing on our traumas to our children, being super intentional about, like Chrissy said, working on you and fulfilling and growing you and healing you as a person. And then moving forward, again, not passing it down, because we have our whole life we're centered around passing trauma, just passing on trauma. And I think somebody said, and I think it was you, Lou, we justify our toxic ways because of, this is what has been done. But it does not have to be that way. It shouldn't be that way. And justifying is just continuing the cycle. So healing and being intentional about taking those pieces of yourself that and finding those and actually identifying them and sitting with yourself and learning how to heal those pieces, and continually checking in. It's hard work, but once you do it, and I just did it. I mean, I'm a testament to it, because I just went through a whole situation where I'm like, wow, that's crazy that I'm living my life through this lens of a 17-year-old me. It's like I didn't even realize that something that affected me so much was affecting me so much. And then once I started to sit down and really deal with it, I was able to move and take another step forward in my life. And it really felt like I had, lifted a weight off of me. So being okay with being vulnerable. And then I think I'm a huge advocate for counseling. I really do think Black people need to start understanding and being open to allowing somebody to step in. It's okay. I hate that we are always thinking like, oh, I don't want people in my business. Well, clearly things have not been working out for you with the two people that are in the relationship. So maybe you just need an outside source to just, from another perspective, it's not telling you what to do. It's just showing you things from a place where you can't see it because you're in the situation. So opening our relationships to a third party, somebody that you trust, do research and figure it out. And then that's really important, I think, too.
Yeah.
Bro.
Spoken like the true therapist she's becoming. Great job, Bree.
Like a shameless
and finally, Big Lou.
No, first thing first, man. There's 4 beautiful Black women on this call that we joke around and we laugh, but y'all input and insight in some of the things you've been through, good, bad, indifferent, trauma, triumphs is really is really why we're here, man, and bring some education to all of us, especially men. One thing I always say to a lot of my sisters, man, is when you got a problem understanding men, don't go to your homegirl. Go to ask a man. your homegirl can't never tell you about another man. That's toxic too. That's not even part of my answer, Rob. But I need women to stop doing that, as well as men. Like, I'm not gonna go to my homie to ask about a woman. That's like weird, and he's not a woman, and he don't know what's going on. I think for me personally, what I try to do, the better is what I do every day with young people. I say every day I got a chance to change the trajectory of a young person's life by my actions, and by my thoughts and the words that I come out my mouth, or what they looking at me without even looking, and truly trying to show them, like, yo, I know you may be in a toxic situation at home and you seeing things with your parents or your grandparents or auntie or whatever have you, but you can do something different with your life. You don't have to continue this cycle. You know what I'm saying? And even relationships I see with, sixth graders and sixth graders and whatever have you. And it's like, yo, I see a lot of stuff even now in middle school that's toxic, and trying to help them understand what toxic means, and what's, not normal per se, but what's should be acceptable and what they should do as young men and young women. And I think that's our responsibility. Too often we wait for young people to become grown to teach them. Well, they'll grow out of that. That's a lie. They're a toxic 13-year-old that's going to be a toxic 23-year-old that's going to be a toxic 43-year-old, and it just keeps going. And it's like, no, it's never too. My son is 5 years old, and I correct him appropriately now. Not how my mama might have corrected me, right? But appropriately, he understands, not to hit or do X, Y, Z. I mean, he knows certain things, and he's forever learning. But I'm not going to wait till he's 15 to now I got to discipline him, or now I can have a conversation with him. And it's like, no, that can't happen. So, man, I think the black family structure is forever growing and forever learning, but we have to stop certain toxic things that we either inherently learned, or what we see, or what we hear, or whatever have you, and start looking at, how can we be better individually and collectively?
Thank you. Thank you all. Chrissy, owner and operator of Dropper Experience, Miss Sylvia, Mina, our realtor, Bree, our therapist, Lou. Man, y'all don't even know Lou been in counseling and working with young people for the last almost 25 years. And
So I ain't that old, Rob. I'm not that old. No, I'm like 14 years, Rob. Like, I'm
yeah. Well, hey, no, in all seriousness, thank you all, love you all, and thank you so much for coming on the show today. And we will see y'all on part 3. Everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. Much love. We are super excited. Please continue to go to our website, newfrontieraction.com. Make a donation today in order for us to continue to have these type of shows, in order for us to continue to operate what we do. What is New Frontier? New Frontier is a group of advocates who've come together and created an organization to help fight racial, social, environmental injustices. Also, one of our major focuses is about voter registration and making sure that people understand what's happening when it comes to our voter laws and all of these new changes. Today, we were focused as an advocacy organization, we were focused on talking about the Black family structure, talking about relationships, and bringing to the forefront some things that and some opportunities for all of us to be able to take a look and have conversations within our own home. Welcome to these family conversations. And I'll close this just by telling you this. I love you, and I'll see you next time.